Hey, Tom, I was speaking to an MSP just last week, and we were talking about the challenge they have with a specific type of client, the type of client who has got, let's just say, a high employee turnover. Lots of businesses out there, hospitality and others, they take staff on, they let staff go. There's a lot of churn there. Is there any way that Pax8 can help with customers perhaps bearing some of the responsibility for that, rather than it all falling on the MSP to keep up to date and keep on track of who's left, who's joining, and in between?
Yeah, Richard, absolutely. And so that's known as our self-service feature that we've added inside the Pax8 platform. Traditionally, we see those situations, as you just described there, those very high turnover situations. Several MSPs do work very closely with their customers, maybe a little bit larger companies, that they sometimes have that technical person on staff. They may even have a whole, IT department on staff. And a lot of partners do work in a cooperative capacity, either a hybrid IT situation or a joint IT situation. It'd be very, very nice if we could maybe offload some of my day-to-day management, some of the easier day-to-day management that I'm doing, and empower that end customer, empower those users to come in and maybe order their own licensing, keep an eye on support tickets and things like that. Is something that we absolutely wanted to achieve. And so within the Pax8 platform, you can go ahead and turn on self-service at the customer level. And so this will be disabled by default. What I'll do is I'll navigate to my companies page here. I can select which of my companies here I'd like to go ahead and activate for self-service. I'll work with my aquarium here. And what I can see is on my company information page, I've got information about who this company is. You can see down here at the very bottom, self-service will be set to no. I simply need to turn that on with yes. And you can even see a follow-up question was asked. And so order approval required. What exactly does that mean? Here's the situation. It's Saturday, it's 3 a.m. I'm asleep, Richard, you're asleep, hopefully. But that customer, they may be up. They may be wanting their licensing right then and now. Saturday at 3 a.m. can sometimes be great off-peak hours to get a lot of work done, as we know. And so this order approval required, that means when they click submit on that order of licenses at 3 a.m., do you want that to go right through? Do you want our API to spin that up immediately for them? Or do you want it to send your team an email? And so very much so, we can send you and the team an email. You can look it over, give it your stamp of approval. And then when you say it's okay to go, then it'll go through to our API. And so very much giving you kind of that flexibility of the choice. A great way to introduce some of that collaborative effort as well. If you're maybe just not 100% sure about maybe, the efficacy of that customer ordering, you're maybe a little bit hesitant about empowering it to do it. Empower them to come in, build out an order, but then run that by you first, I think is a great way for that order approval required. We'll go ahead and click update here just to make that change saved. And very subtly, you'll notice very subtly, we've now got a users tab has now appeared up at the top. And so this is just specific within this company. Now we have a users tab, and these will be how our self-service users are going to be managed. So I've got one already pre-built out there with Edward, but very, very easy to spin these up from scratch again. So I can hit my create user button. I can select from several different roles. And so again, Richard, Microsoft, they kind of built the wheel there. They built a lot of really good technology, taking a cue from some of their RBAC, that role-based access control. Certainly not everybody's a global admin, nor should they be. Pax8 didn't need to reinvent that wheel here. We very much took that cue. We have specific roles, down to including even a read-only one with the Slim app. But I can select that role, that level of access that they need. I can go ahead and, create myself as a user here. So I can just, give myself a quick little login there for it. Whatever email I use here will be sent that information to log in with 2FA and MFA. So again, the security of our platform is paramount. If we're required to 2FA and MFA, those self-service customers most definitely are as well. We can go ahead and get that sorted out. We can go ahead and save that user inside of the screen there. Looks like I need to designate a phone number there. Some quick data there for us. Well, looks like it doesn't like my user there. Looks like a unique email there was needed. Perfect. So you can see there very clearly we have created our self-service customer. But then again, maybe what does this customer see when they look into it? A lot of partners, hey, what exactly is that experience going to be like? You've got a little eyeball over here to even masquerade. So I can dive in to see exactly what my user Edward would see. Again, this is all going to be, tracked with the audit log and everything as well. So, very much know that you're assuming the role of Edward, but we still know who you are underneath that masquerade there. And you can see here, not a whole lot has changed. This portal looks very, very similar to the one that I was just in. What I can see is that branding up at the top. And so we're really going to stress that you throw your own logo into there, accent those nice colors, get that URL customized and all that. But then very specifically, I can see just only my subscriptions. And so here I can just only see the subscriptions that I'm a part of. I can only see the things in the catalog that are available for me. One-time charges, things like an Azure bill would show up there. Some of our arrears-based products in the security and continuity firm, will show up there, as well as those trials. This is a fantastic use case of it. Hey, I'd like to trial this product. Let's go ahead and spin up the trial. They'll get visibility into it, including when that end date will happen. So whether or not that's an auto convert trial or not, will have a big impact. And again, empowering that customer to come in here, perform license changing and modification, both with and without your approval there. So very much, giving you that flexibility. The last component that I'd like to talk about here is just those roles. And so I did talk about kind of the level of permissions, and you may be curious as to, which role has which permission. We, of course, house all that information very readily available inside of the platform. So to see that information, you simply need to head to your admin cog here, head all the way over to the right. You see we've got a manage roles button right here. We'll click into that. And you can see here all of our roles across your level here at the partner level, as well as those self-service customers. And so I can just sort by the account level there. You can see it's very, very easy to see, which roles are assigned to the partner versus which roles are assigned to those individual customers. There's that customer admin we just created. Let's view that role. We can see very, very clearly what they do and do not have access to, very plain language here as far as read-write permissions, and even giving you a little bit of cue, is kind of where's that exposure level? How much, risk am I maybe taking on by empowering and those kinds of things? And again, case-by-case basis is why we give you that flexibility on a per-user basis for how much you want to empower them within it.
This is super powerful, super powerful. And, at the top of our question here, I said the specific case scenario where MSPs are perhaps speaking to clients who have got high turnover. For anybody watching this, I can see this as a real opportunity for you to open conversations with clients who have got, or prospective new clients who have already got their own internal IT teams. I can tell you, having worked in corporate IT, this part of the business can be a bit of a pain for corporate IT to deal with. They haven't got the skills, they haven't got the resources to do this type of work. So could you be having a conversation with slightly bigger clients who have got internal IT and say, hey, we can open up the whole process to you, we can allow you to self-serve, or you can speak to us as and when you need to as well. Brilliant feature, Tom. I love it.